Some men believe that the person with the loudest voice in the room is also the smartest. Others guard their ego as if it were made of glass, fearing it might shatter at the slightest disagreement. Then you have the man who thinks emotions are a weakness and that responsibility is a burden for others to carry. Today, we are exploring the 5 psychological patterns that distinguish foolish men from wise ones. If any of this makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, that's a good sign. It means your mind is finally ready for a change. My goal isn't to criticize anyone. It's to reveal the precise mental traps that leave men feeling stuck, frustrated, and wondering why they can't seem to grasp success. Stay with me, because I will uncover the one transformative mindset that can break every one of these patterns. Let's begin. The first pattern is thinking that volume equates to value. This is when a man confuses being loud with being intelligent. Men who lack true confidence often assume that if they dominate the conversation, they will appear to be the most knowledgeable. They believe that speaking louder, interrupting more often, and arguing with more aggression is how you win. But their goal isn't to discover the truth, it's to avoid the fear of looking foolish. You've met this man. He's the one who transforms every friendly chat into a heated debate. Imagine someone casually mentions they enjoy listening to Taylor Swift. Suddenly, he morphs into a music aficionado, launching into a tirade about real artists and the supposed decline of society due to mainstream pop. His voice escalates with every word because deep down, he's afraid someone might find out he secretly has anti-hero on his playlist. What he fails to understand is simple: genuine intelligence doesn't need to be announced. The most insightful person in the room is often the one asking questions, not broadcasting what they know. Observe a wise man during a conversation. He listens more than he speaks. He asks, "What are your thoughts on this?" instead of dictating what you should believe. He is comfortable with silence because he isn't afraid of what others might think. The moment you feel the urge to dominate a discussion is the exact moment you should lean back and listen. The instant you start performing intelligence is the instant you stop being intelligent. The bottom line is a personal attack. Every interaction becomes a potential danger to his fragile sense of self. If his girlfriend demonstrates greater knowledge on a topic, he sees it as her showing off. If his boss provides constructive feedback, he believes they are trying to humiliate him. If a younger person teaches him something new, he becomes defensive and reminisces about how things were better in his day. Here is the difficult truth. Protecting your ego as if it were made of glass does not make you strong. It makes you brittle. Men who cannot accept being wrong will never learn what it takes to be right. The strongest individuals are not those who are never mistaken. They are those who can be mistaken and recover with even greater resilience. Your ego is not your identity. It is simply the chatter in your mind. If being corrected feels like a personal assault, your ego is not your shield, it is your prison. When an ego is that fragile, everything can feel threatening, especially emotions and vulnerability. So, he builds the third pattern: walls made of counterfeit toughness, convincing himself that real men do not show their feelings. You can see this behavior everywhere. Watch him when his partner gets a promotion. Rather than celebrating her success, he will find subtle ways to diminish its significance. When a friend opens up to him about struggling with depression, he quickly changes the subject or cracks a joke to avoid the discomfort. When someone presents a differing opinion, he resorts to personal attacks instead of considering their perspective. When life becomes too much to handle, he either erupts in anger or shuts down entirely, rather than processing his emotions. The irony is profound. He believes he is projecting strength, but he is actually revealing his fear. True strength is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to navigate emotions effectively. It is not about controlling others. It is about controlling yourself. The most resilient men are not those who never bend. They are those who can bend without breaking. Real strength is maintaining your composure when others are losing theirs. It's being genuinely happy for the successes of others because you are secure in your own value. It's having the courage to say, "I am struggling," when you need support, instead of pretending you are fine when you are falling apart. If you are constantly trying to prove your toughness, you have already missed the point. This leads to the fourth, everyone but him. Let me offer an example. He is removed from his third group of friends in 2 years. Each time he has a detailed story about drama, jealousy, or friends who couldn't handle his brutal honesty. He never once stops to ask what role he might have played in this repeating pattern. The truth, which may be hard to hear, is this. If it stinks everywhere you go, it might be time to check your own shoes. If every significant relationship in your life ends in the same way, you are the common factor. Life presents challenges to everyone, but men who refuse to learn keep running into the same wall and then complain about the unfairness of walls. They point fingers at everyone else while standing in the middle of their own chaos. The wise man takes a different approach. He looks in the mirror first. When a relationship ends, he asks, "What was my part in this?" When he faces a setback, he asks, "What could I have done differently?" He does this not because he is weak, but because that is how you solve problems instead of merely complaining about them. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. The moment you take responsibility for your reactions is the moment you reclaim your power. Taking responsibility is not a punishment, it is the path to freedom. The final sign, the one that ties everything together, is that when faced with a choice between being right and being successful, he chooses being right every single time. Even when his methods are clearly failing, he doubles down rather than adapting. This pattern manifests in all areas of his life. His way of communicating has not won him any friends in years, yet he insists that people today just don't appreciate honest men. His study habits result in poor grades, but he blames his teachers for being unreasonable. He refuses to try new things because he is convinced the world has just changed for the worse. The difference between a man who remains stuck and one who grows is not intelligence. It is the willingness to adapt. Wise men know when to stop talking and start listening. They recognize when their old strategies are no longer effective and they are open to trying new ones. But the man who stays stuck continues to use the same failing approach over and over. He would rather be right than be happy. He would rather cling to what is mindset shift that changes everything. It's this. Stop trying to prove that you are smart and start trying to become smarter. Being smart is about what you already know. Wisdom is about recognizing what you do not yet know. The moment you shift your focus from proving to improving, everything changes. You begin to listen instead of just talking. You start asking questions instead of assuming you have all the answers. You begin to grow instead of just trying to be right all the time. Let's recap the 5 signs. Is being loud more important to you than being correct? Do you treat your ego as if it might shatter if someone disagrees with you? Do you build walls instead of bridges? Do you blame everyone but yourself when things go wrong? And do you choose being right over being happy? If any of these questions resonate with you, that is not a character flaw. It is your wake-up call. The world has enough men who talk tough but think weak. What we need are men who lead with wisdom, speak with purpose, and grow with humility. That is the kind of man who can change everything around him. If this video made you uncomfortable, that's perfect. Discomfort is the soil where growth happens. Look, half of the people watching this are nodding in agreement, thinking, yes, I know someone exactly like that. And the other half are quietly wondering if they are that someone. Either way, you are here because you are seeking to improve, not to remain stagnant. Subscribe if you are tired of the fake it till you make it mentality and are ready for genuine growth. We deliver real talk every week about the topics that nobody wants to admit, like how your own ego might be sabotaging you more effectively than your worst enemy ever could. Here is the reality. Subscribing costs you nothing, but staying the same version of yourself forever? That is an incredibly expensive choice. The people in the comments section arguing about everything are not our subscribers. The people who are actually transforming their lives hit that button months ago. Do not be the person who watches everyone else grow while you remain trapped in the same old patterns. Hit subscribe because the greatest investment you will ever make is in becoming a person you can truly respect.